Welcome into Top of the Perch. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt. A belated Happy New Year's greeting to all of you from the Nick Burt Sports Network. We haven't done Top of the Perch in a few matches. Just figured we'd take a wider look back at the festive fixtures once they ended. And, well, they have come to an end today for Tottenham Hotspur. After their 2-1 loss to Newcastle at home today. They also lost 1-0 at Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day, and they had a 2-2 draw with Wolves last Sunday. So that is a total of 1 point out of 9 for Tottenham Hotspur in this festive fixture range. They have 10 losses in the last 20 matches, I believe, something along those lines. Their last win came against, I believe it was Manchester United. That was the Carabao Cup match. Their last league win was, I believe, the game before that, which was the Southampton 5-0 or 6-0, whatever the scoreline was for that game, drubbing of them at the St. Mary's Stadium. And yeah, I mean, Tottenham had played quite brutal football for the past month and a half, 2 months. And we've gotten into it a lot, but I mean, it's the injuries. It's truly it's the injuries. I don't think it's the play. The play style, yes, is leading to the injuries, but it's the injuries that are very much impacting this team. When you have Archie Gray and Radu Dragusin as your two starting center backs for most of the matches, it's usually not a good sign. When you have Sergio Reguilon, who I once again keep forgetting he's still in the squad, is playing meaningful minutes in the years 2024 and 2025, you have a big problem. I mean, up front, it's lacking. It very much is lacking. It has been and keeps getting worse. And that's not really even to injuries. That's just, it's lacking. There's no two words about it. When you have maybe one of the worst forwards in Premier League history in Timo Werner as your basically one option as a replacement, it's not a good sign. Today, it may have been the worst of the worst, given that the flu has basically run rampant through this team, which means Fraser Forster was out today. Brandon Austin gets his first ever cap for Tottenham Hotspur, which is just absolutely insane that we are at this point. More on the goalkeeper situation in a little bit, but this is a club that's in crisis right now, and it's really a self-inflicted injury crisis because, as we've been saying for so long here, this team lacks depth whatsoever. Like I said, when you have Archie Gray, who's 18 years old and isn't even a defender, he's a midfielder, and he's playing as your starting center back, it's a big problem. When you have Sergio Reguilon, who hasn't played minutes for Tottenham since, I believe, like early 2023, and he's now playing meaningful minutes now, that's a problem. One, the problem is you haven't been able to sell him, and two, the problem that he's just still here in general. It's getting to a weird phase because it very much seems for Postecoglou, all of the chips are in on Carabao Cup for his job, at least from what's being said around in the media, which it should and shouldn't be. I completely understand it. But we just watched this team lose 6-3 to Liverpool with a completely depleted starting 11. And it's going to be like that for the Carabao Cup too. I feel like you can't judge him because of the injuries that he's had to face and the players he's had to play in positions they aren't playing in. But also, like, at some point you have to adjust your tactics, and that's just something Postecoglou isn't doing. Like, he is going to play his way or the highway, which, I mean, ups to him. He's playing it his way. But, I mean, at some point, you got to lay back and say, hey, like, we can't keep doing this. I mean, Forest, yes, they're flying right now. I believe they're like third in the table or something like that. But that's a game Tottenham should have won. They played dreadful, yet they still had opportunities. The fact it was only a 1-goal game, kind of sad. But the Wolves game, you threw that game away. That should have been an easy 3 points. You threw the game away. You end up with a draw. At some points, it looked like it was going to be a loss, but you ended up with a draw. And then today, I mean, it is what it is, I guess, at this point. I keep saying, I don't know where this club goes from here. I feel like I say that every single time I do a Top of the Perch. I truly still don't know where the club goes from here. When you think they've reached a new low, they somehow find a newer one. I honestly today doesn't even feel like a low, just given the players that were on the pitch today. It doesn't feel that way, yet it is, because it's such an odd feeling with this club right now. I mean, things just aren't good, period. And I think that's a big problem. Obviously, there's a lot of people that want Levy out right now. I completely agree. I think he's a great businessman. He's not a good club runner. He can run a club on all the non-footballing side of things, but on the footballing side of things, I don't think he knows what he's doing. I know he's brought in, Joanna Lang to do that stuff. I mean, he did have Paratici. I know he was there at one point, but then crimes happened and he ended up getting suspended from football. Even though he may still not be on the payroll, I'm not really sure, because he's in a consulting role, which whatever. This club needs it's not going to happen. They need investment in this window. This January window, it's a very small opportunity to kind of save this season, which, I mean, given right now, if I pull up the table, this team currently sits 12th in the Premier League. They are, 24 points right now. I mean, they sit 9 points off relegation right now. I know it's not going to happen, but they sit 9 points off relegation right now. We've seen everybody talk about how awful this Man United season is, how it's a season from hell and how everything's falling apart. Man United is 2 points behind us right now, I believe. 2 points. They sit on 22 points, and they haven't played yet this weekend. That's a big problem. We're starting to get into kind of scary situations. Again, this club needs massive. It's not going to happen because they're not going to massively invest in this window, but they need investment in this window. We kind of saw some starting signs of that this morning. Tottenham are looking around spending £12.5 million for Antonin Kinsey. I'm sure I'll figure out the pronunciation when he actually comes, as the new goalkeeper for Tottenham. He is from what it sounds like, he is a very highly touted prospect at goalkeeper. Young. The verbal agreement's all done. He's doing his medical test, coming from Slavia Prague. It sounds like he may be like the Czechia goalkeeper one of the future. He's got to be better than Fraser Forster. I got to say, he's got to be better than that. I'm not really sure kind of what the time frame is for him going to be to play, because I don't know if he can technically play the Carabao Cup, which would be Wednesday, I think. I doubt you throw him in there. But if Fraser Foster is still ill, and it's him, or if it's this Kinski, or if it's Brandon Austin, like you kind of got to throw Kinsey into the fire if it's even possible. I don't know how cap ties work with, the domestic competitions. I know if you're out on loan and then you get recalled from your loan, you can't play in the cup competitions. Like theoretically, if we recall Jamie Donnelly from Leyton Orient, he wouldn't be able to play in the Carabao or the FA Cup because he's already played matches for Leyton Orient this season. The other one, I don't know if he can play in the Europa League because he has played in the Europa League for Slavia Prague this year. I don't know if he's cap tied for that either. So this could be just a massive mistake from Tottenham. Basically just getting this guy for the league because it sounds like Vicario won't be back until probably March. So, hey, I got to give credit to the club. It's January 4th. The transfer window opened 4 days ago, and we're already bringing in a goalkeeper because our goalkeeper situation is that dire. I got to give them credit. They did make quick moves on that. Got to give them credit on that. But this club needs much more if they even want to salvage this season. You got to look at least 2 center backs. I know Tomori from AC Milan somewhat mentioned. I mean, I don't know. Maybe our last signing from an Italian center back, or not an Italian, but a player in Italy, center back, isn't going great right now, and that's Radu Dragusin, who we signed from Genoa. I don't know. Like, there is so much this club needs that it won't take one window to fix. But we're at a point right now, like, it needs to be a one window fix because, I mean, Postecoglou, like it or not, his job is on the line. It sucks because it shouldn't be that way. His job is on the line, and it really is on the line with the Carabao Cup. I know the FA Cup gets started. I believe it's next weekend, which we'll see. I know we're traveling to, I don't remember the club's name, and that's on me, but they're the 5th tier side. They play at the Lamb Ground. I know they play at the Lamb Ground, and it seats like 4,000 people. That very much is a match Tottenham Hotspur would find a way to lose. And then I believe it's on Tuesday or Wednesday. They play in a North London derby, and they would find a way to win that. But we're not even going to go there because it's not worth going there because we're not there yet. But like it or not, like I said, Postecoglou's job is on the line with the Carabao Cup. It sucks saying that, but it's true. The league form has been dreadful. I mean, our cup form, obviously, we're into the semifinals of the Carabao Cup. But, I mean, there's been some games where it hasn't looked that good. I know we got Europa League starting back up this month. I believe for Tottenham Hotspur, they're playing 2 matches a week until, I think, March. Or maybe February. Something along those lines. That's a big problem when you don't have the depth. You are going to get even more players injured if you don't bring in reinforcements, which I think it isn't truly being talked about enough that this club is going to be playing 2 matches a week. I mean, they've been playing 2 matches a week for almost a month now, and now that's an additional month on it with the strain that we've already had with injuries. Like, things could get a lot worse, which is a massive, massive problem. Yet, here we are. It's a club in free fall right now, and I think that's just the best way to put it. And yeah, I don't know where this club goes from here. So, that honestly, that's going to wrap it up. I mean, this festive fixture period has been horrendous for Tottenham Hotspur. We'll just leave it at that. I mean, 1 point out of 9. Jesus, that is awful. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Top of the Perch, this festive fixture recap. Thank you so much for watching. We will, now that the craziness is basically over, we'll get back to episode post-match each game. That starts on Wednesday when Tottenham Hotspur are at home against Liverpool in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semifinal. Pray to God it goes well. It's not going to, but we can pray it's not going to go well. But thank you so much for watching. If you just stumble across the top of the perch, click like, click subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. Like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday, recap that first leg of the Carabao Cup semifinal against Liverpool. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again soon for another episode of Top of the Perch.